I'm 77 years old. And if there's one thing I've learned in nearly 8 decades on this planet, it's this. Most people don't waste their lives in dramatic ways. They waste them quietly, slowly. One compromise at a time, one postponed dream at a time, one "I'll do it later" at a time. I know, because I did it. And by the time I woke up and realized what I'd been doing, I'd already lost decades I can never get back. I'm making this video because the lessons I learned took me 50 years to figure out. And I'm hoping that by sharing them with you now, you won't have to waste half a century like I did. These aren't just ideas. These are truths carved into my bones through years of mistakes, regrets, and painful realizations. So, here are the life lessons I desperately wish I'd known earlier. The first lesson: your time isn't unlimited, and every minute you spend doing something you hate is a minute you're choosing to waste. When I was young, I thought I had forever. Endless tomorrows, infinite opportunities to change course, all the time in the world to start living the life I actually wanted. But here's what nobody tells you when you're 25 or 30 or even 40. Time doesn't just pass, it accelerates. At 25, a year feels long. At 77, a year feels like 3 months. And before you know it, you're not young anymore. You're not middle-aged anymore. You're old. And you're looking back, wondering where it all went. I spent 20 years in a job I hated because the money was good, and I told myself I'd quit eventually. Eventually became 2 decades. 2 decades of waking up dreading the day ahead. 2 decades of watching the clock, waiting for 5 o'clock. 2 decades of living for the weekend. That's 5,000 days, over 40,000 hours of my one precious life spent doing something that made me miserable. And I can't get a single one of those hours back. Here's what I wish someone had told me. You can always make more money. You can't make more time. Every job that drains your soul is costing you something far more valuable than a paycheck could ever provide. Every day you spend waiting for the right time is a day you're choosing not to live. Stop waiting. Stop postponing. Stop telling yourself there will be time later. There might not be. And even if there is, you'll be older, slower, more tired, with different limitations. The time to live the life you want is now. Not someday. Now. The second lesson. At the end of your life, the only things that will matter are the people you loved and who loved you back. Everything else is just noise. I learned this the hard way. I spent my 30s and 40s building a career, chasing promotions, accumulating achievements, making a name for myself. And in the process, I neglected almost every important relationship in my life. My marriage deteriorated because I was always working, always stressed, always too tired to really connect. My friendships faded because I never made time, always too busy, always something more important to do. My relationship with my brother became distant because I didn't prioritize it. We'd talk maybe twice a year, exchange cards on birthdays. My brother died 6 years ago, suddenly. Heart attack at 68. And at his funeral, I realized something that gutted me. I knew his resume, but I didn't really know him. I knew what he did for work, but I didn't know his fears, his dreams, what kept him up at night, what made him laugh until he cried. We were brothers. We grew up together. And I let that relationship become nothing more than occasional phone calls and holiday cards. Now he's gone, and I'd give everything I own for one more real conversation. Here's what I wish I'd understood earlier. Your career will not hold your hand when you're dying. Your achievements will not visit you in the hospital. Your bank account will not comfort you when you're lonely. But the people you love, the relationships you invest in, those are the only things that will matter when you're looking back on your life. Call your parents, not because it's their birthday, just because. Make time for your friends, real time, not just liking their posts on social media. Tell the people you love that you love them. Today, tonight. Tomorrow might be too late. Because I promise you, when you're 77, your biggest regrets won't be about money you didn't make or promotions you didn't get. They'll be about the people you took for granted until they were gone. The third lesson: stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting until you're ready. Stop waiting for conditions to be ideal. They never will be. I spent years not pursuing things I wanted to do because the timing wasn't right. I wanted to travel to Europe, but I was waiting until I had more money, more vacation time, until the kids were older, until work calmed down. I wanted to learn guitar, but I was waiting until I had more free time, until I could afford lessons, until I wasn't so busy. I wanted to write a book, but I was waiting until I had a better idea, more experience, more credentials. I'm 77 now. I never went to Europe. I never learned guitar. I never wrote the book. Because I was waiting for perfect conditions that never arrived. Here's the truth I learned too late. There is no perfect time. There's only time. And you either use it or you lose it. Want to start a business? Start it now. It won't be perfect. You won't be ready. Do it anyway. Want to learn something new? Start today. You'll be bad at it. That's fine. Start anyway. Want to make a change in your life? Make it this week. It'll be messy. It'll be imperfect. Change anyway. Because here's what I've learned. Imperfect action beats perfect inaction every single time. The book you write badly is better than the perfect book you never write. The trip you take on a budget is better than the luxury trip you never take. The business you start and struggle with is better than the perfect business that stays an idea in your head. Done is better than perfect. Started is better than planned. Now is better than someday. Don't wait for perfect. Perfect doesn't exist. The fourth lesson: your health isn't something you can ignore while you're young and fix when you're older. Everything you do to your body now is creating the body you'll have later. I treated my body terribly for decades. Bad diet, no exercise, too much stress, not enough sleep. And I got away with it, for a while. At 30, I could eat garbage and feel fine. At 40, I could skip the gym for months and bounce back. At 50, I could work 80-hour weeks and my body just dealt with it. But at 62, my body sent me a bill for 40 years of abuse. Diabetes, high blood pressure, arthritis, chronic pain. And here's what they don't tell you. You can't undo decades of damage overnight. I started taking care of my health at 62. Better late than never, right? But I'm still living with the consequences of choices I made at 25. My knees are shot from years of carrying extra weight. My heart is damaged from decades of stress and poor diet. My energy levels will never be what they could have been. Here's what I wish I'd known. Your body is the only place you have to live. And unlike your house or your car, you can't trade it in for a new model when it breaks down. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be an athlete. But you have to move your body. You have to feed it real food. You have to give it rest. Because the body you have at 70 is being built right now by the choices you make today. Treat it well. Future you is counting on present you to not destroy the only vehicle you get for this life. The fifth lesson. The things you buy will never make you as happy as the experiences you have. I spent decades accumulating stuff. Bigger house, nicer car, expensive watches, designer clothes, the latest technology. And you know what I remember when I look back on my life? Not the things. I don't remember the cars I drove. I don't remember most of the things I bought. But I remember the camping trip with my kids when we got caught in a rainstorm and had to huddle in the tent telling stories. I remember the road trip with my wife where we got lost and ended up in a tiny town with the best diner we ever found. I remember the afternoon I spent teaching my son to ride a bike. I remember the late-night conversation with my daughter about life and dreams and fears. None of those things cost much money, but they're worth more to me now than every expensive thing I ever bought. Here's what I wish someone had told me. Experiences create memories. Things just take up space. The concert you go to will stay with you forever. The expensive shirt will be forgotten in a year. The trip you take with people you love will be stories you tell for decades. The gadget you buy will be obsolete in 6 months. So stop saving all your money for things. Spend it on experiences, on adventures, on moments with people you love. Take the trip. Go to the concert. Try the new restaurant. Say yes to the adventure. Because when you're 77 and looking back, you won't wish you'd bought more stuff. You'll wish you'd lived more. The sixth and final lesson. The things you try and fail at won't haunt you. The things you never try will. I played it safe my entire life. Safe job, safe choices, safe investments, safe everything. And safety gave me security. But it didn't give me fulfillment. All my biggest regrets are about risks I didn't take. The business I didn't start because it might fail. The woman I didn't ask out because she might say no. The career change I didn't make because it felt too risky. The creative projects I didn't pursue because people might not like them. And now, at 77, I look back and realize all those failures I was so afraid of, they would have been temporary. But the regret of never trying, that's permanent. Here's what I finally understand. Failure is just information. It teaches you, it redirects you, it makes you stronger. But never trying? That teaches you nothing except how to live in fear. So take the risk. Start the business. It might fail. But you'll learn more from trying than you ever will from wondering. Ask the person out. They might say no, but at least you'll know. At least you won't spend years wondering, what if? Apply for the dream job. You might not get it, but you definitely won't get it if you don't try. Because I promise you, you can recover from failure. You can learn. You can try again. But you can't recover from a lifetime of what ifs. I'm 77 years old, and if I could go back and do it all again, I'd live so differently. I'd work less and love more. I'd take more risks and play it safe less. I'd prioritize experiences over things. I'd take care of my body instead of abusing it. I'd start before I was ready instead of waiting for perfect. I'd invest in relationships instead of just my career. But I can't go back. None of us can. All we have is right now, this moment, today. So here's what I'm asking you. Don't waste your life like I wasted so much of mine. Don't wait 50 years to figure out what matters. Don't postpone living until someday that never comes. You have one life, one chance, one shot at getting this right. What are you going to do with it? The lessons are yours now. The choice is yours too.